Ian, what's up? Welcome to another video. In today's video, I am going to be prophesying what the future for the crypto market might hold. So I know that this chart is quite busy, but we'll walk through it slowly but surely. So firstly, the chart you see in front of you is obviously the full history of Bitcoin. Below it, which is the orange line, you can see the US interest rates. That's that line over there. And we can see in the life of Bitcoin, shout out to Benjamin Owen. This is a little bit of info from his video today, so do go check it out. So that's Benjamin Cohen. Although we have not had a lot of data for the interest rates with the rise of Bitcoin, we do have one data point and we can get some information from that and what we might expect in the future. These dates, the pivot and the low rates, are from the CME Group website that we checked out yesterday. So do go check out that video. I always look at it to see what the future rate hikes might hold. So firstly, we have the interest rates down here. Obviously, when it rises, the interest rates go up sideways. They keep it like that for a while. And then when it goes down, they lower the interest rates. And what we can see when they finally pause, which we are quite close to, this pause seems to be coming in March of 2023. This is in a few months' time. So there are two more 25 basis point rate hikes. We can see the interest rates on the side here. We are currently sitting at 4.5. We are expecting a interest rate of 5%. That is what the market is looking forward to. So they will be keeping the interest rates flat at 5% between these levels. The market is expecting a pivot to happen by November. This is the pivot here. That would mean they start reducing the rates like here. And then we get the final low rates as we got before the virus dump, or just after the virus dump in 2020 of March the 9th, right? Funnily enough, everybody thought the virus was the narrative, but what if it actually was the interest rates being reduced to almost zero? So generally what you get is, we can see during low interest rates, obviously when it was kept this low, we can just see what Bitcoin did, right? When they finally started raising the rates, Bitcoin actually went up during the raising of the rates up here. But when the pause finally happened, it was actually exactly the Bitcoin bottom in December 2018. So we can see during this time, when they kept the interest rates high for a while, we actually got a nice rally. Now, this is what I think is currently happening right now. The market is front running this part here. And we can see just before they start basing out the interest rates, we're already rallying into that event. Now, what happened previously during this time is, many people call that the Ponzi scheme that was run in China during this time. But it could also have been because of this, the first stage or the second phase of the pivot. The first phase is the slowing of the interest rate. The second part is flattening out of the interest rates. And the third part of the pivot is obviously reducing the interest rates. So we had this massive rally up right into the golden ratio, which is the 1.618, right up to 14K. Now I expect that to happen again, or if we do just follow what happened previously, we could see Bitcoin head all the way up to almost 50K, right? And this is these bars that will indicate to you what the price movement could look like, right? It won't obviously look exactly like that, but that's something you could expect. This is just a copy of what happened here. So with the interest rates being flat, this will create a little bit of a risk on environment, because we need that rally up into these areas for us to do that final crash down when the low rates finally come. You can see when the rates are, you finally get your low rates, that is when the market dumps, right? And we dumped right into the time when Trump finally closed the US borders, and then we had that final capitulation, which then created this double bottom, which we all know took us all the way up to almost 70K at the end of 2021. So when we finally get the pause, which is predicted by March 23rd, we would be at 5%. This would give us a nice rally right into the 0.618, the golden ratio. This is why I stopped it up here. And then you get your reduction in the interest rates, and finally the capitulation when you reach the bottom of the interest rates and you finally get your low rates. And we can obviously see when the rates are held this low, this is your peak FOMO, your peak speculation time, when everybody can lend money very cheaply and they push up the assets, your risk assets up like that. And this will then pull us all the way up into our blow off top by the end of 2025. So I've done that analysis previously. This just shows, I just took the average of the time that these cycles from top to top. It's about 1,400 days. And we can see if we measure that out, 1,400 days, that brings you to the top, right, of the next cycle, which would be the end of 2025. And I simply then did a Fibonacci extension, and the 100K area is where I expect Bitcoin to top out in the next cycle. We are getting diminishing returns. We're getting lower extensions every year. This extension in this cycle, I can just show you guys, went above the 2.618 and not really close to the 3.618. Maybe we should just type that in, 3.618. Okay, so we actually got to the 3.618. So that means if we are getting diminishing returns, we could actually see the 2.618 on Bitcoin. At 155K, that would be my top side target if we do get as high as that, so something like that. So with that being said, this is what the future or the next cycle might hold for us. Obviously, it might not look exactly the same, but something very much like that. So what we're looking for is all the way to 5% interest rates, sideways, right there, the pivot happening, and then we finally get our low interest rates. Now it will be down there somewhere, right? And then we get our expansion phase, right? So that is what I'm looking out for, a top at the end of 2025, top side target of 155K, a conservative target of 102K. So yeah, that's where we have it. I'm just gonna say hi to the chat. Crypto Elite, Alan Ball, what's up? Jaggy, let's go. How are you doing? Shout out to Haval11, my latest subscriber. Do follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And let's quickly, for you guys, cover the macro market. Dollar, just remove the interest rates right here, still breaking down. This is the log chart. If we lose the linear chart, we're still breaking down. So if we finally break below 1.1K, this would pretty much confirm to us that the bottom for the risk assets are in. So yeah, you guys know what I'm expecting is a little bit of a risk on, so a rally across the market all the way into November when the pivot finally starts to happen. ES1, this is the S&P, the God market. On the weekly, we have finally broken above the downtrend that we have been in for quite a while. Let's see if we've closed in some daily. So we haven't closed a daily yet previously, but we have now finally actually closed a daily above this downtrend, as you guys can see. So that's good. We will start getting people to call the bottom is in on the stock market. Bitcoin dominance went all the way up to 44%. We're expecting to move all the way to 45%. This would mean that the altcoins will lose some of their value, right, versus Bitcoin, versus their Bitcoin pairs, I should say. Tether dominance, the amount of people sitting on the sidelines, still just moving sideways in this area. So Bitcoin still does look like we're going to see 25K. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Let's look at what Hex is doing. Hex at 25 cents. This is our basing area. Pretty much we've been in this accumulation phase all the way from back here. This can last for, when was this? This was May. This can last actually a year, right? So right into May, we can see us continuing sideways in this area. This is very good, not bad at all. The longer this base is on the side, the larger the expansion will be to the upside. Let's just measure that out. If we can get this to go sideways. Right up to the all-time highs, right? So the longer this goes on, the higher the upside move will be. X versus ETH, still a little bit more downside to the Wyckoff check, but that will just mean Ethereum outperforming Hex. XBTC, we looked at this yesterday, almost at the Wyckoff check. It doesn't mean it has to go down there, right? But Hex can hold its value while Bitcoin outperforms. This tends to happen in all initial stages of the bear market, or the accumulation phase, I should say. We're pretty much, it's technically still the bear market, right? But this is where it's time to start accumulating. And Bitcoin does this, starts to wreck the altcoins, especially against their BTC pairings. Although some of them are going to be performing well, they're all going to be starting to move sideways in these areas. And we can see all of them are pretty much in ruin. This looks a lot like X, right? All of these things are trying to find their bottoms and are building bases. LDO, GRT, some of these are newer coins, and we can just see how flat some of them are already. FX, this has recently started to pop off. Yeah, and this is what long-term investors are looking for, coins that have been flat like this. I mean, what's the chances of this revisiting like even the 50%? It's very, very high. And there's lots of money to be made here. So with that being said, we're not going to do this one a little as long as always. I just wanted to cover that Bitcoin chart for you guys. And yeah, thank you for watching. Do like the video, subscribe if you have